Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy Lucid back in the studio, whipping up, creating, and cooking an amazing video for you guys today here. So today's video is about a really awesome acid trip that holds dear in my heart because it was with some of my closest friends and it was their first time tripping too. Now, firstly, I have to state, please don't repeat any of our actions that you hear about throughout this video. This was incredibly dangerous and dumb of us, and I would never recommend doing this to anyone, alright? I don't recommend substance use or any of that. Now, I did try and make a video this morning and yesterday, but you know what, guys? I just wasn't feeling locked. I wasn't feeling locked in, and I didn't want to pump out bullshit for you guys. Here we are, though. And without further ado, let's hop right into this shit. So this all started on either a Friday or a Saturday. I was chilling at home. Now, me, Johnny from other stories, and another good friend of mine, Jaden, had been talking about doing LSD this day. It had been something that we had discussed to do for a while. I had been trying to persuade my friends to do acid with me for so long. I am personally very passionate about psychedelics, and I don't really think too negatively upon them. So I really wanted my friends to get lit with me, you know what I mean? And so that's exactly what we did. Johnny and Jaden pulled up to my house, and originally Jordan from the other stories, my brother, he was also going to pop a tab, but he had work, so he just kind of went to work. No point on popping a tab if you want to go to work. That would be a separate story in itself. So me, Johnny, Jaden, we're just chilling in my crib. We popped these tabs. I think we're probably just listening to some music, chatting shit, laughing at regular stuff that you laugh at when you're, starting to come out tripping. We're smoking on the finest pack in the fucking province, of course. Why not? We have to be. And after a bit, we decide we want to go pick up Jordan. Jordan was getting off work, and so we hop in the car. Now, please guys, never do this shit. Like I said, super stupid, super dangerous. But we also had a blunt rolled too. So we hop in the car and we drive to the grocery store where this guy works. And he hadn't been out yet. I think he was closing. So we decided, fuck it. Instead of just waiting here tweaking, let's smoke this blunt. So we light this blunt up. And this is where shit starts to kick the fan. Jaden decides that he is going to start driving around while we are smoking this blunt. And me, I knew it was dumb, but I also knew that Jaden was locked. He could drive. I trusted him. And I also knew that it was gonna be lit. It was pretty fun. So we start absolutely chiefing this fucking joint so hard. I don't know what it is. When you're on LSD, it just becomes so easy to chief a joint or a blunt. And in this case, it was a blunt. So yeah, we were fucking inhaling this shit. And you could feel it. It hurt, but oh my. It was like that good pain, when you're pushing like 215 at the gym or 225. It was that good pain. And after a bit, we were faded, absolutely fucking faded. And from here, I'm pretty sure Jordan called Johnny saying that he was off work finally. So we swung back around and picked him up. Now from there, we just had a nice safe ride back to my house, because when we were driving around smoking the blunt, we were whipping, hitting corners and shit, fucking drifting around corners. It is a miracle we weren't caught by the cops, or we didn't die in this instance, because man, the tabs were kicking my ass. The visuals were crazy. Guys, the best way to describe it, it was a hazy day. A hazy ass day. Everything was melting. It felt like my fucking eyes were melting. In fact, it felt like I was melting. This weed was just kicking my ass. When you mix that weed with that tab, it just turns into a completely different experience. But yeah, man, the visuals were crazy. I really don't know how Jaden was able to drive at all in this moment, but he was locked. He was actually locked on the sticks, so he got us around. So we picked Jordan up, headed back to my crib, and from there we kind of just did what we usually do. We started smoking more za. Guys, you're gonna notice this a lot. We smoke a lot of weed. This shit's like oxygen for us. I have taken breaks, but life is kind of boring. So you may as well smoke. But yeah, we finish up our smoking, and this is where things start to get a little bit worse. Yeah, Jaden was starting to tweak about like driving and, you know, doing shit. But we were trying to convince him to like hit up a motive because we really didn't want to sit around and do nothing. Jordan was completely sober, so we really wanted to do shit. And when you're on acid, you're just feeling adventurous. You're feeling like you're ready to fucking, you could seriously do anything. That shit feels like what cocaine sounds like it feels like. Acid's amazing, man. But yeah, I think from there we actually did convince him to drive, which was so dumb on our part. I really feel bad for convincing him to drive, but he did. And this is where things get a little freaky. This is actually the highlight of the story, in my opinion. You see, because of the way we hyped him up and convinced him to drive, he started driving like a lunatic because we were hyping up to, you know, we were hyping him up to do so. And he hits this crazy corner, kind of like a drift, and the whole car loses control and the back of the car starts spinning. Now, of course, this is the one time I actually managed to get into the front seat of this vehicle. And we almost fucking crashed, man. My life flashed before my eyes. I actually seen every single part of my life. I felt my heart stop in this moment, and it was this moment of clarity. Like, I felt perfectly sober. I couldn't feel the LSD. I couldn't feel the weed. I just knew death was imminent. But the back tires actually caught control, and we didn't slam into a curb or another car. Either way, we weren't gonna die. It just would have been a really annoying crash. Probably would have fucked his driving axle. Something in his car would have been destroyed. But we got away with that, and after that we all were kind of silent because we almost fucking crashed, and it was really close. And that shit just kind of humbles you, really does humble you down to your core. From there, we decided to drive to what's his name? I almost fucked up, guys. We decided to drive to Johnny's house, and at Johnny's house, we didn't even go in. We stayed in the driveway of his crib, just contemplating whether or not we should even enter the building, because we were tweaking. And we ultimately decided, nah, we're not gonna do this shit. So we walked out of his car and walked back to my house. Guys, you could tell we were tripping, man. It was a hazy day. We literally drove all the way to this guy's crib, Johnny's crib, just to go back to mine. Now, on the way back to my house, like I said, Jordan was with us too. He wasn't tripping. We were just kind of walking, chilling, minding our own business. And Johnny's like, he just starts cracking up, starts giggling. And we're like, bro, what? And he's like, bro, Jordan looks like a Digimon. And I just started dying laughing as I look up at Jordan, and he's kind of posted up, and the way his hoodie strings kind of fell down, this guy's a brolic guy, but he's also not tall, so he just looked like a unit, like a mini tank in the moment. His back was so large, and his like fucking dreads were coming down, and he just looked like a Digimon, something straight out of a fucking cartoon. And I started laughing my ass off as my boy Johnny made me realize this. Jaden even started crackling too, because this was just a moment of just pure fucking euphoria. This was so funny. I laughed for like seriously 5 minutes straight. So hilarious. Obviously Jordan's a great guy. He didn't even take this as a negative comment, because it really wasn't. It was so funny. Just while we were tripping, this guy seriously looked like a Digimon. So eventually, after crackling up about that, we pull up to my crib once again, and we start smoking again. Now, at this point, Jaden had digressed into madness even more. He was tweaking even more, and I feel really bad because this is his first time on acid, and I felt kind of responsible, and there was really nothing I could do in this situation to calm him down. But he was really tweaking about the fact that we almost crashed. He could not fathom the fact that we just almost crashed. It just wasn't connecting with his brain. He couldn't believe that he had done that, you know? And he started talking about like, oh, you know, if I was sober, we would think we're such idiots right now, right, guys? And I remember in the moment we were like, nah, I felt pretty sober already. Psychedelics, in my opinion, don't alter my way of thinking. They actually make me more clear. So I couldn't really connect. I just couldn't understand it. Both me and Johnny were like, what do you mean, bro? Like we didn't think we were stupid at all. We just thought we were having a good time. Like it was a chill time. He was just taking it really to heart. Like I said, it was his first trip, and it was affecting him a lot. And it would for anyone. I think honestly the same would have happened to me. It just wasn't me driving. But that is something to tweak about. And ultimately, you should be worried if you're doing stupid shit like that. But to calm him down, me and Johnny took him to the park, and we just proceeded to smoke more fucking weed, man. There was nothing you could do in this situation but smoke weed. It was a hazy fucking day. Hazy days only, guys. Hazy days only. But nevertheless, we took him to this park, and he starts tweaking even more. He really starts going in on himself. He was just being really hard on himself, and grouped us into it as well. Not like he was coming after us, but he was just talking about how much he was an idiot and how he was going to think he was such a retard when he sobered up. And we were like, man, I don't think so. You just need to calm down and relax, you know, enjoy the visuals, enjoy the vibe, you know, that electricity in your veins. Shit's lit, right? But nevertheless, he couldn't calm down. Sorry with my, I feel like I'm overusing that word, but guys, it's just the way it is. I'm getting better at this stuff. Eventually though, he kind of like, I guess he gets what we're saying. He doesn't fully understand, but he starts to get what we're saying, and he kind of quiets down and starts thinking. We walk back to my crib again, it was a loop we kind of made. And this is where he starts to sober up. I think he actually smoked a bowl, and somehow, I don't know how this happened, Jaden smoked a bowl, and you could see the lights just flick back on in his eyes. Like, he just locked back in. I don't know how, because weed does the opposite when you're on acid. But I guess at this point, we had just smoked so much fucking weed that it just looped around. And this guy was perfectly fine after. He's like, wow, all right, I'm locked, guys. So here's what happened. And he began to explain his thought process. And things did make a lot more sense. After that, we all kind of started coming down. We were chilling. We were also fucking tired, man. This shit takes a lot out of you, a lot out of your brain. A lot of weed in our system, a lot of LSD. Overall, a great time. Jaden calmed down. It's now something we all laugh about to this day. And in fact, I was really happy to hear that he took it really well. In fact, he texted me the next morning talking about how he's glad he experienced that with me and he would be so down to do it again. And I was really relieved because, guys, ultimately, I was actually super worried about my friend Jaden. I have another story I might tell about on my story about another good friend of mine who, in my opinion, got affected really negatively due to a psychedelic experience. But yeah, guys, we had a lit time. We almost crashed the whip. It's okay. We smoked shit tons of weed. We were tweaking off the fucking tabs. It was a great time. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe. There's more content coming. I really am trying to sober up, stop smoking a copious amount of weed, just so I can lock in and get better at story time telling, you know. I am improving. It's a process. But guys, I really appreciate the support, the likes, everything. Leave the support. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next story time.